They say that 7 is a lucky number. It's also supposed to be a number of fulfillment and completion. I don't know about that because I think there's still a lot to complete when it comes to Coffee Breaks with Steve. But we're celebrating today. We're celebrating our 7th anniversary, and you're a part of it. So put on the brakes, grab a cup of coffee, and join the conversation because it's time for a big celebration on Coffee Breaks with Steve. Well, here we are, and I am joined today with two very special people, very important people, VIPs. You know what I'm noticing here? We don't have, I need to put up our names. Something
we're
nameless.
We're nameless.
Let's do that. There we go. Now we know who we are.
Oh, look, I'm still an alien.
Yeah, you're still from a couple of weeks ago.
Still an alien.
I'm still gamified creatures. I don't remember why.
I don't know.
I'm sure there was a reason.
Oh, wait, let's do this.
I'm fixing it.
Okay, fix it, and we'll turn those back on if you want to. Or we can just leave it like this. This is fine, too. Oh,
there we go. Ta-da!
Ta-da! Okay.
I don't have a ta-da. I don't know how to fit. I don't remember.
A lack of ta-da.
Yeah, who knows?
Edit name. Edit name.
It says
no,
it just says producer. You're fine.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, we'll just leave it like this.
I'll be a game
alien. You know what? If I take this away, then I can more clearly see your faces.
That's true.
That works.
And everybody knows who we are anyway, right?
Yeah.
Rick is here. Jonathan is here. Good to see you. All right. It's good to see all of you. As you do tune in today, we know there are going to be some people joining the celebration. Do say hi in the chat. Hi, Carla. Do say hi in the chat so that we know that you're here. And I am also going to put this up there so that we can see everybody who Joel is here. And I'm so thankful and gratified that people are part, all of you are a part of this, not just today, but all the time. We're going to have a fun time. We're going to be doing some reflecting. We're going to be doing some reminiscing. We're going to be doing some looking ahead. So Karissa and Chelan, I just was thinking, can you believe it? 7 years.
I would like to point out that 7 is my favorite number.
Okay, well, see, I think that explains it all, right?
It's valid.
So, yeah, it's amazing to think that it has been 7 years. I'm going to show a couple of things here in a few minutes as we talk about this. But the first thing I want to do is get to our sweet and savory and just share a few things that we're not doing a lot of sweet and savory. But Chelan, what is this?
The charcuterie.
It is. Last week we talked about, maybe it was week before last. Gosh. The 7 years, it just runs together. Maybe it was 7 years ago. We talked about the Artemis mission that had just blasted off heading for the moon. And yesterday, they came home. They got back safely. There was some concern about the heat shield because the previous Artemis launch, Artemis 1, Uno Artemiso, I have no clue if that's how you're supposed to say it. Did I say Analia Young is here? Hi, Analia. They were concerned because when the first Artemis mission, which was unmanned, unpersoned, I didn't say unmanned because there was definitely a woman on this one, they noticed that there were cracks in the heat shield. The capsule didn't burn up on reentry, but they caused some concern. So they made some modifications. And hi, Jim.
Carol Siegel's on.
Carol's here too. All right, Carol, hi. They made modifications to the heat shield, but there were still concerns because this going out past the moon and coming back, they pick up some speed. And this capsule was going to be coming back faster than any previous space mission, manned human person space mission in the history of person space flight, going all the way back to the early 1960s. And they were concerned about that. And so they were coming in at a different angle slightly. But I think it was still supposed to be building up more heat than any other mission potentially too. So they, it was like, let's hold our breaths and hope we don't burn these people up. They didn't. They got back safely. It was really a cool mission. And I'm a space nerd, as
you are.
Yeah. I was going to say, as some of you know this about me. But anyway, yeah. Hey, I also want to show off something here that we are celebrating with. And I wish, Karissa and Chelan, you were here in person, because I don't know what I'm going to do with all of these.
I want to eat them.
But Casey Fowler has a company she's putting together that is called the Overstimulated Cookie. And she actually made us a special tray.
I want them.
Coffee Breaks with Steve cookies for this celebration today. I'm actually going to unwrap this as we're talking, and I haven't tasted one of these yet. They've been cellophane. In fact, it's kind of shrink wrapped here. It'll take me a minute to get this undone.
While he's unshrinking them, I will say, so on my catchphrase, she spelled it the way I say it, which is everybody drink.
Everybody drink.
Appreciate very much.
Yeah, it's yes, your catchphrase. What is your catchphrase? I should have got the scissors out to cut through this. We'll do that in a minute. So any of you, here we go. I'm going to show this one. There's several, but it's like,
I want to eat them.
How does she do it?
She's probably got trade secrets. I'm actually breaking this in half to start, and I do have a plate here and a napkin, but I'm going to take one bite on the air.
I'm super jelly. I want that.
I'm going to talk with my mouth full.
Yeah, do it.
Excellent. That is a very thick cookie. Is that shortbread?
I was going to say it looks really thick. It's
a sugar cookie.
Sugar cookie.
With just a little bit of lemony, it feels like, but not a lot.
Really?
They're supposed to be in here.
Breakfast of champions.
I think some of these may also be mocha flavored.
It goes into like a coffee flavor. Yeah, the coffee.
So we're going to try them. I'm going to be like munching cookies as we go. I can
smell them from here.
I want them.
Oh, Jim Mockford is wondering if any Kennedy alumni are here. I know there maybe at least one or two. on here, so respond accordingly if you'd like to.
Oh, I like the Carol.
Rick says
Carol
he thinks
Siegel.
Apollo 13 was a little faster. That may be true because I do know one thing about Apollo 13. If you watch the movie, at the end of the movie, they're very concerned about how long it's taking to regain contact because it's normally was a 3-minute blackout period. And they knew that Apollo 13 had shallowed a bit coming in. And on the movie, it's like they get past 4 minutes and everybody's like, oh my gosh, did they burn up? They actually had to cut it short for the movie. Ron Howard had to modify that. The reality is they were out of contact for almost 6 minutes.
Wow.
Because of that, of the angle they came in. But yeah, anyway, all right, cookies. And then we only had one birthday on our list this week, but hey, special birthday. If somebody gets to celebrate on our 7th anniversary, Aaron Glavin is celebrating a birthday this week on April 14th. So happy birthday, happy special Coffee Breaks with Steve 7th anniversary week birthday to you, Aaron. Did we miss anything? Any of you out there have a special day this week? Let us know that in the chat. So what did you do?
My cat is poking me in the butt with her claws.
I don't think you're allowed to say that on
sounds
here.
Hey, you're showing your cookies on
leg.
It's fine to show your cookies on YouTube. You just can't show cake. Am I right?
I think.
Am I right? Am I right?
I don't know. If you have a special day this week, would you put it in the chat? That could be a birthday, an anniversary, anything that's special to you that you would like us to acknowledge and celebrate with you. And if you have a special day coming up, perhaps later this month or in the year ahead, you can send us an email at cbwsteve@comcast.net. We'll add it to our calendar. And yes, we do have one where we try to keep track of all the special days and make sure that we do recognize and acknowledge them. And maybe you have a special something that you would like us to talk about for our Sweet and Savory. We like good news stories. We like to know updates from many of our past guests. If you got something special going on coming up and you've been on the show before and you want us to be a part of that. I looked over and I saw a message that was unrelated to the show. This is my ADHD kicking in.
I will say I appreciate that we all dressed up today for the celebration. I have my celebratory top knot.
Yeah, you're still wearing your pajamas and robe, right?
Yeah, which is my usual dress up.
Yeah, that's what you do for coffee breaks. We know that. And that's, that's appropriate. I'm assuming that a lot of our brew crew at home are also in there and may also be in their jammies. So, hey, listen, I do want to get to the topic today, and I think we know what the topic is, right? It's just no, it's not peanuts. It's about the 7th anniversary, 7 years. It started with a very simple idea. It just started with this idea of put on the brakes, grab a cup of coffee, and join the conversation. And actually, what's interesting, I was looking up, and in fact, I'm gonna go here. The then and now. This was the promo. We have at times in the past shown short video or photos of me from the very first episode, which was actually April 9th, 2019. I also need to change something here because I'm noticing it's like my head kind of is disappearing. We're going to make that a little bit more. That's
just how your head is now.
Oh, my head is that way. But this was the promo. This was the promo that I put out there when this was getting started, just to let people know. And notice that the tagline was almost there, but just a little bit different. Put on the brakes, grab a cup of coffee, and join me. Now we make it join the conversation, which I like better. It's much less about me, although my name still appears in the title. But we had the title of the show from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Also notice that when we started it was on Tuesday mornings at 10 o'clock. And it was designed because you'll also see in the bottom there, if you can kind of see through the comments that are up there, that's my consulting company logo, Sapiens Nonprofit Solutions. During that period, I was running my own consulting firm to provide consultation and advice to nonprofit organizations. And I met with a marketing expert and said, what else can I do to get myself out there so people know who I am? And she said, you need to be doing a weekly Facebook Live video podcast. So the very first episode, we talked about things more tied to nonprofits and stuff like that. And oh my gosh, did you see that Joel said he did his 16 miles
But we're
this
happy to
morning,
have him.
and he's back in his jammies. I'm
Back
proud of you
Personally-
for
As one
doing
does.
both, Joel.
Personally, I would be more proud if he did it in his jammies.
You know, if you've seen, he actually runs in, I mean, you could almost say that he could probably sleep in what he runs, not the same
probably
ones,
could.
but I mean, that type
No,
of
hopefully
outfit.
clean ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, you'll see the safety of my home office. The next picture, it was taken actually not during the first episode. It was taken about a year later during COVID. But this was the basic setup at the time. I'm going to drop this back down a little bit so we can see.
That had to be over Christmas. Yeah.
Well, it was actually past Christmas, but it was after COVID started. And so we were using our built-in dining table in this apartment we lived in at the time as we weren't eating at it. We were like eating probably at TV trays or something. But you'll notice my setup is pretty basic. I mean, I had just my laptop computer there. I did have a little tripod with the cameras on top and a clip on that same tripod with the run of show. Even then we had a document that kind of outlined the run of show. It was just me. I wasn't at that point having guests on. I don't know that I would have figured out how to add somebody. We weren't using a studio platform like we do now. It was just going straight out of Facebook. We were not on YouTube. It was just pure and simple.
Tell me this is during COVID without telling me this is during COVID.
Right.
We have a puzzle out. There's Clorox wipe.
There's Clorox. And you see the wipes and the hand sanitizer both on the counter there.
Yeah.
And nobody is around me. I don't know if anybody. Carol was probably there, but she's not in this picture for a variety of reasons. And this, to kind of give you an idea, is, and you're going to see some clutter because that's typical for my workspace, but that's kind of the setup now, today. Actually, that was yesterday. And you can tell I had the fluorescence on because everything looks green. But this was this morning. I actually got a shot of myself in front of the setup as we were getting ready to go on the air. And different. I mean, I don't know. It still looks like amateur hour to me, but yes.
Stop it.
So the first picture, you were alone with a puzzle and Clorox wipes. In this one, how many friends do you have
on your desk?
Are you talking about the various gnomes and a few mooses?
Gnomes and some moose.
No clue. I'm not going to take time to count them all right now.
No, but just
we got bigger fish to fry.
I would think about 26.
Yeah.
So let me talk about this so you get a feel for where we've come from. Again, started 7 years ago. We've done, as of today, 312 shows. We've had 122 individual guests. We have more episodes, obviously, with guests, but some have been on more than once. 122 individuals have joined as guests. We've had guests from 25 states in the United States. And in addition to that, guests from 9 foreign countries. Guests' areas of expertise, influence, and career have included actors, athletes, attorneys, authors, comedians, educators, employment specialists, family, friends, filmmakers, financial experts, food experts, medical experts, musicians, nonprofit leaders, producers, business professionals, students, travel experts, and YouTube influencers. Right? I mean, I stop and think about it. Since you asked, Jonathan, yeah, I did ask what's new. Right, we want updates. What's new with me is the first animated trailer for his musical Space Vacation.
I'll be watching that after this.
Yeah, he's got the link here, so get that link and watch that after the show, please. I certainly will. Yes, it's amazing to me when we stop and think about where all we have come from over these years. I do understand that one of the things that we have is that past guests have submitted some greetings, and we have a montage of those that I understand is several minutes long. So assuming that all the tech works, we're going to take a look now at fingers and toes crossed, because you never know with these things. We're going to be taking a look at this montage. And remember, co-hosts, microphones muted during this, but we'll leave our faces up there.
Congratulations to 7 years of Coffee Breaks with Steve.
Congratulations to Steve for 7 years of Coffee Breaks. Here's to so many more. Steve, thank you for asking the best questions and for always bringing the best energy, and most importantly, for being my friend. Congrats!
Hi, Derek Nelson here. I'm a singer, songwriter, music producer, and educator. Here with a quick congratulations to Steve and the entire Coffee Breaks with Steve team. Wow, 7 years. This is incredible. It was such an honor to be a guest on your show a couple times and to be able to talk deep music and life, and just such a privilege to be able to be on the show. And your show was a really bright spot for me way back in the 2020 COVID times, just to be able to relax and connect and pump the brakes, as we say. So keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for the amazing service you provide to our community, and for creating a space to connect and go deeper on some stuff that really helps a lot of people. So thanks for doing what you're doing. Congratulations on 7 years and to many more episodes to come. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Joanna Sochacka. I'm a Polish pianist, and I had the pleasure to be Steve's guest in Coffee Breaks with Steve last year. I wanted to wish you all the best on your 7th anniversary. Many programs, new programs, many inspirations, many great guests, and I hope to participate again. So many greetings.
Hi Steve, this is Rick, the writer and director of All Sorts and Cement Suitcase. I wanted to send you a big congratulations on all your episodes of Coffee Breaks. I'm so glad that your creativity and curiosity just keep driving you forward. Here's to the next 1,000 years. Bye.
Hey Steve, congratulations on 7 years of Coffee Breaks. That's a lot of coffee, my favorite drink. And so many meaningful conversations. I love what you've created. Thank you so much for having me on one of your episodes, especially during the pandemic times when we all needed to feel so connected and caffeinated. Thanks for bringing people together in the way that you do. And cheers to many more years of this.
Hey Steve and the Coffee Breaks crew, congratulations for 7 years on the air, and many more to you.
Hello, greetings from Northern California, and congratulations to Steve and his team for 7 successful years of Coffee Breaks with Steve. My name is Analia Young, and Steve and I spoke about etiquette. And etiquette is a topic that a lot of people feel uncomfortable with. Perhaps it's even misunderstood. Most people think it's about being perfect, but it's actually about creating an enjoyable environment and helping your guests feel comfortable. That I have heard a proverb, and it says, "A word aptly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver." And when I spoke with Steve during our interview, Steve spoke aptly. He made me feel comfortable. We had an enjoyable conversation with laughter, and we talked about how etiquette is changing. So we had a good time. Thank you, Steve. And to you and your team, I wish you many future successful years of Coffee Breaks with Steve.
Hi Steve, congratulations on 7 years of Coffee Breaks. That is amazing. I really love your podcast and I love your mission. And I'm so excited to see what new stories and voices you're going to share with us next.
Good morning, Steve. This is Jim Mockford from Kennedy School, our old alma mater, Kennedy Elementary, now McMinimum's Kennedy School. and I wanted to send you a greeting on the 7th anniversary of Coffee Breaks with Steve. Let's go inside. We couldn't get coffee like this when we were students here, but in the gift shop, look what we've got. We've got coffee here, and I'm going to grab, since it's the end of the St. Paddy's Day season, for my next Coffee Breaks with Steve will be a little bit of this, and we can even get coffee to go here. So that's how we're going to celebrate Coffee Breaks with Steve from Kennedy School, our alma mater. And I'm going to ask for the Kathy Globin Honor Student Discount. So say hi to everybody in Spokane, and we look forward to seeing you.
I think I have been on Coffee Breaks with Steve at least 5 times. On SNL, that is a special club, and they get a jacket. But all I got was this mug, so we need to work on that.
Hey Steve, it's probably no surprise to you that I'm out here on the trail getting my miles in, so I thought I would take this opportunity to say congratulations on 7 years with Coffee Breaks with Steve. What an incredible accomplishment, and I'm glad I could be a part of it. I look forward to meeting up with you in person again, but until then, I will talk to you soon. I hope you have a great day, a great week, and a great year, and continued success with Coffee Breaks with Steve. Talk to you later.
Hey Steve, it's Sarah. Huge congratulations to you and your team on 7 years of Coffee Breaks with Steve. It was a ton of fun to film the episode with you almost a year ago now, and also just really appreciate our friendship and all of the conversations we get to have outside of the show. Again, huge congratulations, and I'm wishing you and your team just all the success for 7+ more years of Coffee Breaks with Steve.
Congratulations, Steve. 7 years of Coffee Breaks with Steve. Such an interesting podcast. Thank you so much. You've hosted me twice on your show, and I especially appreciate the engaging manner in which you carry on the conversation, bring out things by the questions that you ask. So I hope you keep on with your podcast. Appreciate all that you do to bring interesting things to us.
Hello, this is Kati from Budapest, wishing you the best of luck for the 7 years going on with the Coffee Breaks with Steve. It was a great pleasure meeting you here, and my best wishes for the future with the show.
Happy 7th anniversary, Steve. Coffee Breaks with Steve has built such an amazing community over the years, and the topics that you have are incredibly diverse as well as entertaining. Interviewing you was probably the best special that I could have done, and I really hope that we have more segments like the one that you and Carol had for My Funny Valentine. I wish you all the best, really looking forward to more of your specials, and congratulations. Bye.
Hello Steve, it's Lolly Wren, also known as the Fairy Voice Mother. Congratulations for 7 years of your wonderful podcast. Thank you so much again for being so kind to me all those years ago when it was one of my very first interviews. I really appreciated how insightful the questions that you asked were, and you're just an all-round lovely human. And you've supported me and you support people, and that's what you do, and so it's really nice that people can now have an opportunity to support you and congratulate you on your wonderful work. So thanks again, long live your podcast, and I'll catch you soon. Bye!
Hey Steve, congratulations on your 7 years in Coffee Breaks with Steve.
7 years.
And we thank you for having us on the show twice. Once with Jonathan doing
my musical, Space Vacation.
And once with the two of us, as you interviewed us about being residents of New York City, the Big Apple, and we're still here. Thank you for having us on your show.
Thanks, Steve.
And congratulations.
Wow.
That was awesome. What a great
Oh my gosh,
spot.
I'm literally emotional.
That was so great.
That
I
was-
love. Thank you so much to everybody who participated in that.
yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I'm blown away by that. It just really, and some of those were just like, I love the fact, for instance, I mean, just, yeah, I don't know what stood out to you, but everybody kind of came from their own place. You know, it just made sense. Jim at
Kennedy School was
and
great.
going inside and getting his coffee. Kathy Glavin honors.
Is the Kathy Glavin honor roll? Is that honor roll discount a real thing?
You know, I would, if so, I'm there. Because I can even show, you know, ID that says, hey, I'm related. Maybe I get further, maybe there's a further discount.
Hey.
Catalin Till did hers from a night cruise in Budapest.
On a tour.
River cruise.
Thought, yeah.
So she must have been conducting a tour at the time.
Right?
Probably,
Yeah, that's
right?
awesome.
And Aaliyah
In her free time.
all set up doing her, that was just, it was so.
That made me miss.
I know.
But
Even Annalia's tone of voice was so perfect for that. But just everybody, Rick Castaneda wishing us another 1,000 years. I have to appreciate that too. And
Thank you, Rick. We'll
no,
try
just
to work
so
on
many.
that.
I don't want to leave anybody out, but I'm going to be going back and rewatching that for sure.
That was great.
That was very, very special. A few surprises, people that I just several of the people on there, I just know how busy their schedules are just from trying to even, you know, arrange any more
episodes of them and stuff.
Get them on an episode. And so the fact that people took the time to do that was really amazing. So thank you to everybody. For those of you watching in the chat, what stood out to you? Were there any special moments in that video that kind of you really appreciated, caught you by surprise? Maybe for some of you on here, maybe it was your own. Yeah. And I have some questions for the Brew Crew, for the people here. How long have you been watching? Do you remember going back and seeing a first episode? Maybe it was for those of you who were guests. Maybe it was the one you were on. But do you remember, you know, going back? Some of you may go all the way back to 2019 and may have tuned in, if not the very first episode, somewhere along the way. Several people who were on this, several guests, at least 2 or 3, mentioned being on during COVID, and that connection. Kathy, may take a family. I may have to be an advocate for that too.
There you go.
But just wondering what you remember about watching for the first time. Things have changed a lot. You know, I mean, we started, it was a 30-minute program. Now we're typically at 45. Today, we're planning on going for an hour, just leaving it open because we knew we had extra things here. By the way, I do have more cookie here. I'm trying different flavors of the cookie.
That looks so good. I'm so jealous.
Are they mocha?
That one kind of tastes mocha. Now this one, I almost take to bite into these. I'll bite the handle.
I bite the handle. It's like when you're eating a gummy bear and you just like eat the ears.
You have to eat these the right way. I had a couple of people. I knew that people were doing something, sending in the videos, but I had a couple of people who didn't have time to put together a video, who just sent me text messages or emails that were congratulatory, and so I appreciate those too. I'm gonna say it again when we get to the end. I'm gonna encourage everybody to stay on for the closing credits today, because we are going to be acknowledging people in a special way, except Carla, who has to go to book club. So, but you know, we understand that some people, they have priorities. We get it. This is a place to gather, but we know sometimes when we meet even in person for coffee, people will go, "Hey, good to be with you. I have to go." So we recognize that.
Had my coffee. I'm leaving.
Yeah. For the Brew Crew as well, who are some of your favorite guests, and what have been some of your favorite episodes and topics from the past? And Karissa and Chelan, if you have memories of that. It's hard for me because I have, you know, for me, anything that we get to do is special. So think about that, because I want to talk about some of the memorable guests and moments. Like within that, if you got favorites, or what was, if you, and this for the Brew Crew as well. Ship cookie. Yeah, we're talking about shipping cookies, because this tray, if you looked at it, has like, I think there are maybe 24 cookies there. I am not going to be able to eat all of them, although I'm going to be very tempted if I don't do something with these. So we may be trying to do some food FedExing here.
Yes. We'll accept.
But I have a hard time singling out an episode because for me, every time we get to do this, it's special. I mean, 312 times. And I don't know.
Every episode is so different. Too.
They're different. And even when we've had somebody back or we've done a best of and replayed a conversation with someone, even then I hear new things. I find I'm the one doing the interview. I'm typically the one doing the editing. And so and then watching it when we're on the air. And yet when I go back and rewatch some of the guest conversations, I find myself going either, oh yeah, I forgot about that, or I'm not sure I really caught that the first time.
Right, yeah.
But was there a most surprising guest, someone that exceeded what you expected when you came in? I've got a couple of thoughts about that just from things I heard from people.
Moni Nomp.
Moni, and telling his story about coming from the killing fields
I
of
was
Cambodia.
not mentally prepared for where his story was going to go.
Yeah.
And I could have asked questions all day. I could have watched the movie, read the book. Like, there was so
Agreed.
much.
It should be a
I
movie.
went, I'm sorry, I didn't realize the life that I was walking into this morning.
Well,
That one
and
was
an
very
appreciation for, sometimes we go, well, woe is me, my life. And then you hear about something like that. And it really catches you. It's in some ways much different, and in some ways even tougher. But I thought about my dad's story, having to escape in the Holocaust. But yes, and I'm wondering, a couple of them for me, Moni stands out definitely. But there was a time we had a financial expert on, Chris Gerbase. And first of all, you expect financial advisors show up in a suit and all this stuff, and they're very kind of prim and proper. And Chris was just very laid back. I think he showed up with like a baseball cap on backwards and a T-shirt, and he wasn't trying to make some kind of statement. That's just the way he is.
Right.
And some of the things he shared and some of the advice that he gave, it was so non-standard, regarding the things that you typically hear about. Well, you need to invest this way, and you need to engage someone who is a certified financial advisor. I even asked him that, should people be looking for someone who's certified? He says, you look for somebody who's going to meet your needs.
Mm-hmm.
And he himself is certified. So it was like, he wasn't just promoting that. Another one was the attorney, Christina Matson, who, again, I thought, well, this could be kind of dry, but she was talking about estate planning. And
I was thinking about that one.
Yeah. And, making sure that you have your power of attorney in place and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, yeah, this is something that everybody needs to hear. This isn't just for older people. This is for everybody. And it really was. And again, I heard from people from both of those. It was like, wow, that was actually very good. Our employment experts, again, some of the ones that have been more about some professional topic, I find that I walk away going, I didn't even know that. Yeah. So those are kind of cool.
Addie Grow,
Addie,
as an employment expert, she, because of the interview you did with her and the connection,
I actually did two with her.
I made with, and the first one led to me connecting her with my husband, and he then got a job
as a result of talking to her and working with her. Yeah. What about funniest moment? Any funniest moments?
The April Fool's episode with Scott and Chelan
I don't know what you're talking about.
Will forever be cemented as like the funniest
We set that
episode.
one up. We set that one. I was a couple of years
great.
back, and we set that one. It was when the show actually broadcast on April Fool's Day. And we set it up just avoiding talking about April Fool's. And we said it was going to be an episode about identity and finding your identity. And then I wasn't on. Chelan and Scott showed up, both of them as Steve, wearing weird wigs. And just had this off the wall, completely improvised conversation. And one of the things I loved about it was I was basically directing the episode in the background, and I couldn't stop. I was laughing so hard throughout, I was just crying, which made it hard to manage the tech. But Leanne Joshua, who's Rick mentions, is a professional comic and brings humor into workplace settings and stuff, teaches about how humor is important. That was another good one. With that April Fool's episode, not only was watching you and Scott hilarious, Chelan, but the fact that immediately the Brew Crew nobody was going, what the heck's going on? They like were right into it right away
right into
and
it.
just rolled with it.
100%.
And again,
Steve,
which just showed
you're
me,
doing something different with your hair today. How interesting.
yeah, I mean, people were just like right there.
Pardon me for a
really
moment.
good.
I have a cat yelling at the door. Please
Sure.
continue.
We'll just again, you know, these things come up. So
these things do happen.
One
of my favorite episodes.
Did she actually just? Oh no, she just turned her camera off, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
She left. She ran away. I really liked the episode that we got to do with the cast of Fiona. Because we were in the process. You and I were in the middle of working on that project. So
absolutely,
that was so great to be able to do that particular one.
And that was one of Jenny Connolly's 5 times on the show. I have to count that and make sure that she's telling the truth about that. Maybe I do need to get her a jacket. I don't know. Behind the scenes stuff. Some of our tech fails and guest no-shows. We're not going to name names, but we've had 2 or 3 times. Back in the day when, that was another thing, is back in the day, we did not pre-record guest conversations.
They were all live.
And they were just tuning in. In many cases, they were just tuning in on Facebook back before we were using StreamYard, which is the platform we use now. And there she is. She's back. And unmute if you can. But we had, in terms of the no-shows, we had at least one where somebody, we, you know, communicated ahead of time, made sure, and then they just, I think, overslept that morning.
Yeah.
And never showed up. I mean, those cases, we just sort of had to roll with it and vamp. Had someone else who was like, they were supposed to be here. They confirmed they were going to be there, and then they're not showing up. And midway through the show, I went out and checked, and I had an email from that person saying, I can't find the link. Can you resend the link if it's not too late? And we did a sort of an abbreviated version of the conversation live. We've also, do you remember a few months ago, last year, I think, when StreamYard had changed the way they were setting up the scenes, and we had our guest conversation recorded and ready to roll as we always do. Play. Well, we tested it before we went on the air and it was fine. And then during the show, when we went to that segment, video wouldn't play. We tried dropping it, reloading it. No. Yep. And we ended up again in those situations just having to fake it.
Yeah.
I will say that is the reason why this is my go-to suit for coffee breaks, is that, like, okay, if something goes wrong and I have to jump in as a guest, I am ready at all times.
We've done that. You just you don't have to. I have to get myself ready. Yeah. And fortunately, I think StreamYard fixed that. We haven't had that issue for quite a while, but we've had to deal with that. We've had tech fails in other ways too. There were times, I remember early on, I think this was toward the end of 2019, toward the end of that first year, we were still in that apartment that I showed the picture of earlier, working from the table. And everybody was home. It was right at the end of the Christmas holidays. And I was doing a show, I think, if I remember right, it was with Christopher. And we were going to talk about internet security and being safe on the internet and stuff. And just a few minutes into the show, our internet dropped out.
Yeah.
We're trying to do the Wi-Fi because we'd have Wi-Fi in that apartment complex, was depending on how many people were doing things, how many people had electronics on, there could be interference. And we were always holding and it dropped out. And we couldn't get it back up. And I was, at that point, I was just probably tired anyway from, all the holiday hoopla. But I think I said, I don't know if I want to keep trying to do this. It was early enough in the 7 years. I mean, we'd probably just done 8-9 months of it. And and I don't think I want to keep doing this. It's just not worth it. The Wi-Fi is too unstable, et cetera. Well, that next Monday, while I was at work, Christopher was still in town, Dustin was still in town, and Mom took them down to Mom being Carol, Karissa and Chelan's mom, took them down to someplace like Best Buy or Home Depot or something. And they worked all day in that apartment and set up a patch through in the wall that allowed because the router for the internet was in a different spot in the house where I really could not conveniently do setup to do the show. They set it up to where I could plug in directly with to the Ethernet. LAN, to the Ethernet, and get a patch through without having to use the Wi-Fi at all, and get a more secure link. You know what, though? What was ironic about that, and I felt very guilty, was we got a notice like around that same time that our rent was going to increase dramatically. And we ended up like within a month from there moving to a different apartment. And so I was like, well, the next person will get to use that, I guess.
Right, there you go.
But I was so appreciative. Again, it was just another example of the community coming together.
I have to tattle on myself another episode with Christopher. Christopher must bring bad luck. I think we shouldn't have him on the show anymore.
Oh, no. He was almost going to join us today.
I know he had other things to do. We don't blame him.
I know.
But the first episode that I did with Christopher on cybersecurity, we were doing the AI because we did the 2
right, artificial intelligence show.
And I was doing it from the coast. So the way that it was set up is I was hosting it. Christopher was joining as a guest, but I was out of town. My husband had a poker tournament at the coast, and so he was in the casino, and I was literally in my car in the parking lot of the casino doing this episode. Well, I didn't do the smart thing, and I didn't go to the bathroom before the show.
Oh, no.
So I ended up actually cutting the episode like 15 minutes short because I had to... I was like, okay, and we're done. We'll have to go
thing that I would do. I've not heard this story before. Okay.
Yeah. So we were a brief episode that week, and that's why we had to come back and do a part 2 because
security is important. Bye.
Yeah, and we do want to hear from the Brew Crew. I know you're just kind of listening to our memories, but if you have any, and maybe if you were a guest, do you have any memories from the time, I don't recall for some of you if we did live or if we pre-recorded, but what your memories are of those.
Maybe we did both. If you've been on more than once,
you may have gotten a flavor of both.
Maybe you were having a hard time technically. I don't know.
Could be. Then that's happened a few times.
Yeah. I have a list of things that are important to me that I want to go through.
Do it.
One was Kim Baker talking about how her synesthesia works and how it was
the synesthesia episode.
Amazing.
And when
her
she
work.
worked at FBI,
yes,
again,
that was cool.
Could have read that book a couple of times through.
Yeah.
And Lolly Wren, Fairy Voice Mother, listening to her was like taking a master class. It was excellent. And then, okay, this one is dark, but it was so impactful for me, and not just because I know this person, but Lisa Steele talking about
Vegas.
Going through the Vegas shooting, and it didn't work out to have video because she was at, I think, one of her daughter's.
She was like at a Starbucks and the video was very glitchy.
Yeah, and so she just did the audio, and it was so
emotional,
powerful,
extremely
just
emotional.
To listen to her talking through the experience. That one really stuck with me, and then me getting to interview Steve myself and learning that my timeline of his life was completely incorrect, and now I know
you're wrong.
Interesting.
Wishram was like this much.
Jazz Osry mentioned it in her little video. Congratulations! That she came up with the idea. I had done 2 episodes with her about her fantasy fiction books, and
which were great. That was great episodes.
Yeah, which she came back and said, "Has anybody ever done a segment, an episode where they interview you?" And so we did a Turn the Tables episode where she was the host and I was the guest, and she asked me questions similar, not so much about my childhood, but it was more about my interests and how I got involved in doing this. Do you also remember that both times that Derek Nelson, you mentioned being on twice, both times, that was kind of the first Turn the Tables. He was on live both times, and we'd get to the end of our time and he'd say, "I've got a few questions for you." And he did. He just flipped the tables on me. And we'd spend we always went over, both times he was on, we went over our time limit because he went like, "Well, tell me more about how you got involved in doing this and how."
I can't see it. What is it?
There's Derek Nelson on my list. Derek Nelson is so engaging, and he absolutely turned the tables on Steve and started interviewing him. That made me laugh so much. The first time it happened, the second time I was like, yes, he got him again.
He did it.
Oh my gosh. Another thing that we're big on here, our motto is put on the brakes, grab a cup of coffee, and join the conversation. And we always open with that. It's in all of our promo. It's on all of our materials, and we always open with it. But our closing tagline to me is that one is fun. They put on the brakes, and it's sort of the instruction. Hey, come on, get in. Come around the virtual table. Our closing tagline, our closing line every week is the one that's important to me. They find a way to make a difference in your world this week. I've been involved in in nonprofit work for many years, was involved as a volunteer and even on staff as a pastor at church for a number of years. And so for me, the idea of touching the lives of other people is important. And we've had multiple, to me, every episode, even if it's somebody coming on with humor, even doing an April Fool's episode, there's an impact. And I'm curious about any of the things that you can think of. And this is, again, for our Brew Crew. Where has the impact been? You know, the places within, is that something that you notice when we do the show? Do you find that you're aware that the stories, to me, it's people's stories, and they come from all over the place. And we've had diversity in terms of age, gender, careers, backgrounds, situations in life. Talk about Lisa Steele sharing the Las Vegas shooting story. She was there. Talk about Jay and Jerry Zetterval being on a few years ago, and Jerry talking about a traumatic situation when she was younger. And we don't go after sensationalism. We don't go after things that are going to hopefully be triggering. We're always looking at the disclaimer aspect when we're going to be talking about things that could be sensitive for people. And sometimes we don't know. You know, something could be said during a show that seems very benign. But I'm curious from everybody about impact. And do you feel like the show does that? Do you feel like the conversations bring out things that are inspiring? I remember one of the times that Jazz Ossery was on, and we talked about not just her writing, but talked about where she had come from and why her background and her upbringing was important in leading to some of the things she has done, and how she's run into obstacles along the way. And I got an email, so again, why I think our YouTube presence is important. I got an email that next week from someone in South Africa who happened to get on YouTube and had come across that episode and wrote an email, which I forwarded to Jazz to share with her, that said, I was so inspired. I had some projects, some visions, some dreams, some goals that I was working on. I'd set them aside because I didn't think that I was good enough to do it. And I listened to Jazz talk. And I thought, first listening to her, well, you know, how could she ever have any problems with anything? It just seems like everything's fallen into place. And then I heard her talk about the obstacles she's had to overcome. And it inspired me. And I'm picking my project back up, and I'm going to go forward and achieve my goals. So, you know,
for me, that Coffee Breaks has really, when we talk about inspiring or touching lives, overall, one of the things that I really love about this program is that it gives a voice to so many people, and that maybe in most circumstances wouldn't be heard by others. And it gives people an opportunity to share their passions and to share their struggles, and it kind of gives this sense of, oh, I'm not alone. There's other people in the world who are like me. There's other people in the world who struggle with the same things as I do. There are other people who celebrate the same things as me. I know that's one of the things I've really appreciated in times when I've been allowed to host a show, is to be able to talk about things that I get excited about and things that I'm passionate about, that very often in my life, it's like, I'm the only one. Like, does anybody else really care? And to be able to share it with other people and connect with other people on those levels has been such a blessing through this program.
Yeah. And I loved, Rick, I loved what you said there, Rick, that, you know, something to look forward to every Saturday morning. I do know that, by the way, is true for me. But I know also there are people who have told me, you know, like I have it on my calendar, I have my alarm set, whatever it might be, that just this connection. And I remember, you know, we started this about a year before the pandemic. But I remember during 2020 particularly, that connection and some of the things that came up even during the show, that for people who felt isolated, that this was another way to connect. And I felt good that we were already established somewhat by then, and it became sort of part of the norm. But I've heard that from people, and I'm humbled by that. And it gives me a sense of purpose in knowing that not just being here is important, but not just what we do, but how we do and why we do what we do. So
I wanted to bring up something that for me has been really meaningful, which is, first of all, I was not involved at the beginning. I couldn't be there when it was on Tuesday mornings. And it took me a while to get into the habit of just showing up on Saturday mornings. So I was late to Coffee Breaks, but being part of Coffee Breaks and being on Coffee Breaks has changed my relationship with my dad, Steve. We've always had a good relationship, in my opinion. But I remember there was earlier on in the Coffee Breaks episodes, the things that would go wrong. I remember hearing Dad going, "I'm sorry, guys, you'll have to put up with it," and like apologizing a lot. And just there's a boldness, maybe coming from being a producer or just being adults now, or whatever the case is, of me messaging Dad afterwards and going, "Stop apologizing.
Stop apologizing.
People are here for you."
And I don't anymore.
You get to go as long as you want.
We just roll with it.
You don't apologize to anybody.
And if there's a tech issue, this is in essence live television. It harkens back to some of the things, you look at some of the old kinescope recordings from live shows, particularly back in the 50s, in the early days of television. And even the professionals back then, it's like, yeah, this is live, things happen, it's we now roll with it, I think, a lot more. And that's greatly a credit to you, Chelan, for just what you described. So, yeah. I do want to, again, because we set this to go long today. This is an hour-long show, but I want to get to a couple other things before we wrap up today and talk a little bit about what's coming up. And coming up does not just mean the next couple of weeks. This is season 8. We are transitioning from being on the air. I'm not going to apologize for speaking wrong right then. Being on the air for 7 years means that we've just finished season 7 and we're now rolling into season 8. So we're going to talk about what's going to be coming up new, and just going to tease a couple of things that are going to be coming up. But we are going to be doing some things a little bit differently, and I'll mention that. Not the core of the show, but we're going to be adding some things. But first of all, I'm actually out of town next week for the first true episode of season 8, and these two clowns will be here. And I don't even know. I don't know if you got a topic yet. I don't know if you're going to come on and just wing it. Again, it's live TV. So you two get to decide what you're doing. I'm completely out of the loop on it. And
he has no say whatsoever.
I have no say whatsoever. We've done that before. There have been times that when I'm traveling someplace, and like I remember last year when I was in Europe for a full 4 weeks, that you guys took like 3 out of the 4 weeks. So I think we took a hiatus for 1, or maybe there were 5 weekends total that were involved. And I was like, you know what? I don't know. I can't.
I don't know. I don't care.
I always care, but it's like, but I also trust you. Whatever it's going to be, I know it's going to be worthwhile. I know it's going to be fun. I know it's going to be impactful, and there may be cats.
There might be cats.
Might be.
Yeah.
But I will say to the Brew Crew, I think you feel the same way. You don't want to miss it when either one of these lovely people, or both of them together, the dynamic is great. So you'll want to be here next week. And then in 2 weeks, I will be back here, and we've got another musician on. Kathleen Kinney is a professional harpist. And we're going to, and I think it's possible, I don't know for sure, we're working on some things. She may actually play her harp during the conversation. She may be able we may be able to include that. We typically try to include, with permission from the artists who come on, who are musicians, their music in a segment of music video or something else, but it's possible that Kathleen will play live. Listen, one of the things that we've always done is to ask you, the Brew Crew, for your ideas. What are the topics that you want to discuss? Who are the guests you want to see? And we ask you to email that to us. We're going to be adding something in season 8. I'm not going to share everything we're looking at doing in season 8 as new stuff. Again, the basics of the show are going to stay the same, but we want to encourage you to send your ideas. And, you may say, it's probably not feasible. Well, we'll decide that. You've seen some of the stuff we've done. But particularly if you have ideas about a topic and can give us some background, if you have an idea about a guest, and particularly if you can make the introduction, as some of you have done in the past and have resulted in guests coming on this show, we're going to actually add something. It's not going to look like that, but there will be rewards. There will actually be tangible thank you gifts that go to anyone who gets us a topic that we put on the air, or a guest that we're able to connect with and hold a conversation and bring as an episode. So we'll be talking about that more as we get into season 8, but just know that we do encourage that, and we want to make it kind of worth your while to do. Although hopefully, if we have a guest you introduced on the show, you're pretty excited about that. Also, just again, we're going to be really working. We're going to start this next week. I've got some meetings set up, and we're going to be working on how we can further enhance the YouTube side. We mention it every week that we want to get YouTube a little more active, and we have seen subscribers grow there, but we'd like to see more happen there. But we know we need to do some things on the YouTube channel to make it more visible, to make it more exciting, and we're working on that. But I still would encourage you, if you're not yet a subscriber to our YouTube channel, please do that. The more subscribers we have, the more people watch and like videos. It improves the algorithm to make it more visible. And we do have people like that lady from South Africa, and I'm sure others who will find us and will be inspired and encouraged by those things. So yeah, keep doing that. And, it's 7 years. I mean, I keep thinking about that. We've got a variety of other things planned, some ways that we're going to take even more advantage of the Find a Way to Make a Difference in Your World idea, with some things that we're looking to do to add opportunities to reach a larger community. But that's part of it. We're just getting started. This really is a time to, I think, acknowledge so many people. It's another segment we're going to be adding now. It's called The Last Sip, and it's just something that I've kind of done anyway, but it's just a reminder that this isn't about me, and it isn't even about the three of us. I want to talk to the Brew Crew for a minute. Those of you who tune in and you engage in the chat, we talk about being around our virtual coffee table. I cannot even begin to tell you how much I appreciate you and how humbling it is to have you as a part of this, some of you consistently every week. And I don't take that for granted. We've seen some of the wonderful comments today. Also to the guests who come on, all of it is to me very humbling. 312 episodes, 7 years, what the heck? But there are also a number of behind the scenes contributors, and you're going to see all of this in the credits. So again, I encourage you to stick around through the credits. They're going to be a little bit longer than usual. But to all of our guests, to all of our team, and to all of you in the Brew Crew, I just want to say a huge thank you. And just a reminder, this isn't our show, it's our community. And that's all of us. So we're going to finish as we often do. And then again, I want to encourage you to continue watching till the end, and just say, please do find a way. Let's raise our cups if you've got them there. And at home, Brew Crew, if you have a cup and you want to raise it, find a way to make a difference in your world this week and every week. We love you. We appreciate you. God bless you. Have a great week. And we'll see you next time as we go into season 8 on Coffee Breaks with Steve.